Hi, this is Pat McNamara, and this is Catholic History in Less Than 5 Minutes. Today we're going to take a look at the church in the period of the late Roman Empire from 337 to 476 AD. During this period, the Roman Empire divided into Eastern and Western empires. The Western Empire would fall in 476 AD, while the Eastern Empire would last almost another 1,000 years, until 1453. The major challenges that the church faced during this period were heretical movements and barbarian invasions. Let's talk about the first. Some see the early church as a Garden of Eden-like period when everything went just fine because Christians didn't have all the trappings added later on. But that's a big mistake. While the apostles were still alive, they could settle debates over who Jesus really was and what he really taught. But later on, different stories were being told in different places, with some people believing one thing and some another. These led to what we call heresies. The word heresy comes from the Greek word heresis, meaning the choice, or the thing chosen. In other words, it's what we choose to believe. The major heresies of this era were Arianism, which we've already discussed, Pelagianism, which argued that one could attain salvation without the aid of divine grace, Nestorianism, which denied that the human and the divine Jesus were one and the same person, Monophysitism, the belief that Jesus' divine nature canceled out his human nature. All of these were condemned by church councils, first at Ephesus in 431 AD, and then at Chalcedon in 451 AD. Pope Leo I, known as Leo the Great, convened the latter. He was famous for saying truth, which was simple, and one does not admit of variety. It was the job of Peter's successors to preserve the correct teaching about Jesus, to be guardians of orthodoxy. Now, in his book Orthodoxy, G.K. Chesterton argues that it shouldn't be seen as something humdrum, but a thrilling romance which he likens to a chariot race. Chesterton writes, the church swerved to left and right, so exactly as to avoid numerous obstacles. To have fallen in with any of the fads from Gnosticism to Christian Science would indeed have been obvious and tame, but to have avoided them all has been one whirling adventure, and in my vision the heavenly chariot flies thundering through the ages, the dull heresies sprawling and prostrate, the wild truth reeling but erect. The same year that Pope Leo I held the Council of Chalcedon, barbarian hordes swept down on an increasingly weakened Rome. The word barbarian comes from the Greek word barbaros, meaning foreigner, referring to someone who had not adapted Roman civilization. As the fall of Rome hung in the balance, it was Pope Leo I who persuaded Attila's Huns to leave Rome alone. By this time in the West, the real leadership was from the popes, not the emperors. As political unity collapsed there, Western Europe descended into what historians call the Dark Ages, which lasted some 500 years. During this era and beyond, the Church would be the unifying force, thereby playing a crucial role in the shaping of Western civilization.